Real news, real issues, real people. It's Ceola Wilson, one-on-one.
So let's reel it back in a little bit, right? Because Bermuda's very personal. You know, I don't like him because he's cool with her and this and that and this and that. And, you know, she said. It's sort of like when I stepped out of mainstream and everybody said I'm one of the best until I stepped out on my own. And you know what black people say? Well, she thinks she is. What a strange bunch, right? But we still vote along racial lines. PLP, or the way, or the... Listen, in my house, the only good rats are dead rats, you know. I don't care what color it is. You could have freckles. You could be from Wang Wang Wheel, Canada, wherever. Right is right, and wrong is no man's right.
But that's gonna change.
So you're saying...
We came out of the 50s, the 60s race.
I have a dream one day.
No, but race. We were battling. So the PLP was formed to represent black people and what we needed and where we were headed. The whacker.
Over the years, we've evolved.
It's changed. I mean, we'll go to schools together. It has changed.
Okay.
So eventually, people who, like I say, 98 people voted PLP. 2002, we had to mislead you, and people were left standing out on Court Street waiting for that euphoria again. And one of the worst things I think happened was that one or two people's aspirations led them to say, basically, I wanted the country will just have to suffer. Because when you think about it, I was elected 2002 or 2000 beginning, early. And then I was in a by-election when David Allen passed. The next, shortly later, months later, there was a general election. And at that time, people within that 11, remember the 11 in the newspaper?
The Rebel 11. Some of them are still in there.
And the Rebel and the Loyalists. I was called a Loyalist. But I had just gotten there, but I had people come to me during the time because the woman won the cup. She won the cup after never winning the cup.
Twice.
She won the cup. She won it again. But while she was winning it, they were out at Princess. Plotting to stab her in the back. And they tried to get me in the fight.
And so what happened?
They came to me and said, hey, what you going to do with it? I said, hey, why? First of all, why? Tell me why. When I was canvassing down through Middletown and Caravan Avenue, she came and helped me. She was eager. She was involved in her high heels. Damn, John.
Don't forget it.
In her high heels.
Stilettos.
She came with me, the few that asked me, and I said to them, why? Tell me why.
What did they say?
Got to get rid of this woman. It was a woman thing.
And it's still a woman thing.
And I'm in charge. And I said, look, I'm not in this fight. I just got elected a few months ago. She's helped me. A few people had helped me. I'll tell you who really helped me was the Honorable former Eugene Cox, Paula Cox, Letha Butterfield,
Dame
Jennifer. I guess the Loyalists. But I just didn't want to get in that scrap at that time. And I said to them, why isn't there ways to do it without backstabbing?
And they said...
Look, this is how they were going to do it. And I remember that second election when people were out on Court Street dumbfounded because they never showed up. You remember? People forget. Bermudians forget to you.
Short term.
Selective. And when I look historically as a former reporter, journalist, and a little studier of history, I can name the things that Dame Lois did immediately that was getting us on a track. I believe she had a plan. I told those guys as well. I told them if I was having a party and I had $5,000 to spend on that party, I'm going to give it to a woman. I'm going to give it to my mama or a girl because she's going to stay the more meticulous. She'll make sure that the plates match the forks. Everything would have been on case. I had parties when I worked at Kim Wallace and all we guys had a party and nobody bought forks. So we ended up like having to eat with our fingers until somebody said, let me go get forks. But she was meticulous. And first thing she did, she worked on one man, one vote of equal value. So before the next term, that was in place. That helped pushed us again to keep winning because our vote was equal to everybody else's vote. The other thing she did, she made smaller class sizes and paraprofessionals in the classroom. Those things will take time to see the results, but we're seeing some of those results.
Now they're being backlashed by all this other ignorance.
Right, but so, and if you don't give somebody, it's just like these swaps. When you keep swapping ministers to me, I guess that's
You're
how
going backwards.
It takes you a while to even understand the job. Nobody's been a minister.
What
before.
happened and where you're going.
So when you get there, and depending on what permanent secretary you have, who helps you. So when you keep swapping and changing, I'm gonna play and going this way.
But you got in promising stuff that you never addressed, and you're just perpetuating the same madness. We saw that recently with Ceola Wilson and the permanent secretary of education, who was instrumental with that Freddie Evans debacle. She's been switched out. That's what they do. They switch out the incompetence doing nothing and move them somewhere else. Where is determination?
And if you don't keep people in that position long enough to carry out some things, it's never going to change. The next guy comes, he wants to go that way.
But let me just stop you there, because we got this little young crew now, right? And I know you're like Porn Dog, and I'm Porn Dog from Mount Hill, my daddy's side, but I'm Somerset. Has Ceola Wilson lost his mind when he says he simply wants to rename Somerset Primary West End?
Now see, this is another one. Again.
No.
But I know I'm going to tick off a lot of people.
But listen. I understand we're not giving breath and death rate and all of that. Right? But does this boy understand the history of Somerset Primary and West End?
But we can't just ride on history forever.
Okay, forget the history. Let's delve on the racist culture in education that has yet to be dealt with. Has he lost his mind? Look, and if you can't remember that, let me ask you what the hoods asking. Where that money that disappeared out of his car trunk, yo?
We're going all over the place.
I'm asking for my people.
We're going all over the place.
No, but if you're honorable in one place, but you don't honor something in another, that's what I'm talking about. And no, I'm not trying to bring that hurt.
That's up to voters.
What I'm saying is,
voters make
Somerset and St. George's traditionally strong hills.
But look,
the stronghold there.
The country is in financial difficulty, and if people have said, look, we don't need 2 schools in this area, because we don't have enough children. Everybody's leaving. We don't have enough children. Now, if this building is newer, safer, better, it's going to require less maintenance. The school will have to go. I mean,
but you're going to take West End and put it over there.
What name of it? I believe they made the decision based on which buildings better,
You think it's that simple? You think it's that simple on St. David's, where they're trying to tell St. David's they got to go all the way to St. George's?
All the way to St. George's.
Okay, but forget all that. Let's talk about the history of the founding of those schools. How did St. George's Prep get started? Because they didn't want Mohawks work.
All right, but we're in a different place now, and money.
But nothing's changed.
If they're going to make one school and they're going to choose one.
Their name is something else.
Well, I think what they call it, that's...
Okay, I get it, but are they serious?
Well, I wouldn't have suggested that, but...
So what is he?
Make it a whole new name. Make it a whole... and keep
That was too hard? That was too hard.
That he was trying to, I guess, I don't know, I can't speak for him, but it seemed like he was trying to
placate?
Keep some people
happy. Is that what they were mandated for? To placate the public?
What I'm mandated to do was best for the country, and if money is involved, at this time, if it's a money decision, then go with this decision that's going to save us money. I mean, we're not in a position to, but we're still acting like we got it like that. We don't. Both of those books, the Throne speech and the Throne reply, mentioned that we're in some financial troubles. So again, I started out by saying the one thing we don't like is change. We're talking about changing these schools, and I know we're emotional. I'm attached to that school, but they could.
Well, Tatum closed. Nobody died.
Right, exactly. So, Howard Academy closed.
I didn't go work. I didn't go work SEC. I didn't go Sands. I went Parvis and work Academy. My people went West End and Somerset.
But we get emotionally attached
No,
as a building.
like what I say that to say, I really don't care what they do.
At the end of the day, if they can find the right formula to make sure that the most children can get to the highest level, then we got it. But the building and the name, that's a different story. But I'm saying, but raising this issue about...
But we're about grades, and our grades are substandard.
And that's been for a long time.
Harry?
That's been for a long time. That's not...
We're below the bar, yeah?
That's been for a long time.
I mean, to me, I'm grateful I don't have no children in my immediate family at a school age. We'll come through that. Your son's growing, my son's growing. Right? But during this COVID restrictions the last few years, if I had a young child in school, they would have been out by now.
I wonder now how many people are behind and how far they're behind.
Well, I know a middle school teacher from Sands who I told, and he said his teenagers who are old enough to play, the games that should be doing, he said they were unsupervised for 2 years. They were playing Fortnite. They weren't worried about school, and they're never going to catch up. And your ministry was operating like everybody home during COVID actually lived in a house that could afford to have the internet. I have yet to hear how many children didn't even have that.
Well, I know my former constituency, Pembroke Southeast, people didn't have computers. I got computers that people were throwing away, cleaned them up, fixed them, and gave them to parents. And some of those mothers said to me, "Thanks, Ash, but we'll be playing games on them because I can't afford the internet." And now imagine if you have 4 children, 3 and 4, and some 5, 6, single mother, 1 computer. They all gotta be in school, so 1 computer ain't gonna work. At that time, I would have thought the government's got to get to. It's still a lot of people that don't have the ability to get online like they should. The people just take it for granted. Oh, they all can. Not true. They're giving out things and you're trying to give people stuff. Say, look, based on your household income, we'll provide internet for this house. Come on, if you're gonna give people things that are gonna uplift them. What they say, $150 or what was that thing they gave?
My neighbor has an 8-year-old. They got $150. Her school shoes were $99.95. She gave her $100. I mean, the 30, 50 left is not enough for sneakers. That's why they buy Nike or Payless. What are you telling me?
So think about what you get. People need access to the internet. Every house in Bermuda should have internet access. A house without internet access is a house that's not going to be at the level it needs to be education because you just don't have the access. People don't go to the library. In my day, we had to go to the library to go do a research and pay.
Now we good. Now you see the Santo Domingo people sitting outside for the free Wi-Fi.
Free Wi-Fi. But I'm saying everything. I did see that in the Byrne speech, something about housing based on income. But everything now must be based on income. So not everybody can afford it. So I would like to think different, but I'm sure we have numbers of children now who are way behind. It's the same in the other places. Did you ask the Caribbean?
But we're acting like it's not happening.
Because we had COVID, 2 years. 2 years of people not in school, no instruction, nobody there to make sure you're paying attention. They're behind, I'm sure. But we haven't heard anything about that. We just go on like everything is cool. It will show up somewhere down the line. But if we don't provide the opportunities for enough, because they're all knocking for enough communities to reach their full potential and be gainfully employed, there are going to be problems. You're going to have girls, you're going to have people stealing and robbing because people have to survive.
Well, we've been seeing that all this time.
But it'll get worse.
It's getting worse.
And it's like, we're not addressing. I don't think we keep seeing people. I see just yesterday, the premier was threatened. Somebody threatened the premier. But he's been threatened a couple of times. That never happened in the past. I don't even think they threatened UBP, white leaders. But all of us, because that frustration is building, it's boiling up. And if we're not careful, anybody that wants a position up there is going to have police protection.
When you had said it, they made joke.
But he claimed somebody sent him a bullet.
People still say
They caught my car on fire. So I've been in it. I've been in the heat. I've been there.
Okay, we'll be back right after this.
We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned.